are welcome in to the weekend. We have made it to Friday. Welcome everybody, it's Friday. And we have our second weekend of Streamathon coming in, starting up. And with that, we're also going to be doing a new model. Start with some new models here. Hopefully the audio and everything's coming in good. Oh, no, start the music. I didn't do that yet. There we go. Let's start that music up. Come on, music, start. There we go. Spotify? No, it's not picking that up. Of course it isn't. Why would it want to, right? Go. There you go, Spotify. Hopefully that music came through as well. Previously. We got some good volumes here. Okay. But, anyway. So, what model are we building? Well, new model I bought, new kind of model I bought. I'm pretty used to, like the Gunplas, so like the push-together models, things like that. And obviously the Ecto 1 was a different kind of model where it had all the screws and everything like that. So, we're going to be trying a glue-together model here. So I got some modeling glue. And, depending on what the model's like, nice pair of snips here, some files to work with. But, with AI being all the rage and everything like that, why not just embrace the AI, get ourselves a nice new AI assistant, and, if you couldn't guess, oh, look at that, well, thanks for the subscription there, Mercury, thank you. 34 months, why? But anyway, AI being all the rage, why not get ourselves a new, AI assistant and everything like that. And so, you know what? I found this really nice, polite model. Everything, this nice AI model, that'll probably be able to help us out. We're gonna go ahead, have ourselves, Hal here. He seems like a nice, polite guy. I'm sure he'd be able to open doors for us at the very least, So, yeah. Look at that. The Mobius model, 1-to-1 scale model kit of Hal here. Even features a red LED eye. That'll be fun. What does I say? Complete with LED light kit with wiring and switch. Okay. Wiring and switch. Alright. Executive program algorithmic computer. Okay, that's neat. Part number 2015. That's pretty fun. There. Let's see here. What do we got in the back here? Let's see here. The HAL 9000 became operational in 1991. Look at that. Future fucking ristic here. From HAL Laboratories in Urbana, Illinois. Okay, where he first achieved consciousness. HAL is a sentient learning computer able to reason, interpret human behaviors, makes informed decisions, and communicates verbally. Don't they all, right? HAL 9000 is ultimately installed onboard computer on the Discovery X-Ray Delta 1, a deep space exploratory craft where the assistance from the crew members, Frank Pohl and David Bowman, he sounds like a nice guy. He controls the entire ship. A monolithic object, I'll get to that in a second. When a monolithic object of extraterrestrial origin is discovered in orbit around Jupiter, the Discovery is sent to investigate and collect data related to the mysterious artifact. Due to conflicting information in his mission programming, the HAL 9000 malfunctions, becomes paranoid, and kills all of the crew except for Commander David Bowman, who manages to survive by removing HAL's core memory banks. Yet the mystery of the monolith remains. Dave Bowman is about to take the trip of his life. Okay. Alright, cement and paint are required. Okay, I don't have paint, but, I have glue. That's probably just as good as cement anyway. And thinking of it, think of it, 2001 is probably one of those movies I should probably get myself on, should probably get on my Laserdisc player. That seems like appropriate. All right, well, you've got the base for Hal right here. Look at that. It probably sits, yes, definitely sits like that. So paint definitely, well, I mean, I do have some model paint, but that's, little brushes are not going to be good enough for this. So we got that here. I do have some more models too, should we need them. All right, looks like that's our LED kit here. Looks like hooks up to a 9-volt battery, and there's a switch. I do have some 9 volts, so that's good. That's probably the water. This is probably the water decal if I had to guess right there. Instruction booklet. Okay, looks like Hal might actually be fairly easy. So we might end up completing Hal today. And then moving on to one of our other models. Yeah, we just got a couple of things here. Yeah, it looks like Hal will probably be pretty easy. Obviously sans painting, which is probably something we'd want to actually do, is get a nice matte to gloss finish there maybe. Let's see what this... Okay, yeah, paint. Yeah, general paint colors described are suggestions only. Feel free to choose colors of your own liking or colors that you feel best represent the original props as seen in the film. Okay, yeah, so they just got them here. Yeah. Facing black, frame, aluminum, silver. Okay. Lens frame. Focusing ring, a semi-gloss black, flat black. Okay, and just back there is just an eyeball. Lost or missing pieces. Yeah, Hal seems pretty straightforward here. Well, maybe we will, because most of this seems like it's going to be the painting process. Because, you know, you'd want to paint your pieces first before putting everything together. That way, you don't have to worry about taping off too much, I would think. Yeah, it's just basically placing the lens decals together. Yeah. Switch, faceplate, yeah. Cement the, yeah. So, not to worry though. Not to worry. I do have a couple other models that we can work on. So I think painting up Hal would be really good. I wouldn't want this plastic finish here. So, we're actually going to hold off on painting up Hal, I think that might be a good call. Yeah, no, there isn't much to Hal. I didn't know what, I mean, I hadn't opened this up yet. I just took the plastic off, so I didn't really know what to expect. But, you know, that's understandable that Hal would not be that, that hard to work on. But that's why we have Plan B. That's why we have Plan B here. I mean, technically, we have Plan Prototype, Plan Original, Plan A, and Plan B. Can anyone take a guess on what that might be? Go ahead and let you guys think that one over. Again, I said we have Plan Prototype, Plan Original, Plan A, and Plan B. Yeah, need a model of the whole brain room? That would be interesting. I mean, you know, I do have a bedroom I'm not doing much with, so I just get a whole bunch of pop cans like they have in Futurama. But I give you guys one more hint on what these next models are going to be if you want. And that is, these next models, well, it might be a long road putting them together. Yes, Star Trek, you're right. We've got ourselves a nice little Enterprise pack here. We've got the NX, Constitution refit, and the Excelsior refit of the Enterprise. Yeah, nice full little set here. Looks like this is the Enterprise B. You know, I think we'll do them in order. So that means we'll start off with the NX here. It looks like the original Constitution parts are also in there. And then, oh, we've got stands here. Oh, it's probably Constitution. Okay, Constitution refits also in here. These are kind of small as well, but that's okay. I mean, what are you going to expect for something, you know, box this size? They're 125 scale as well, so will they look anywhere near as good? Probably not, but hey. What do we got here? Oh, decal. Okay, these are paperback. Okay, so it looks like these are sticker decals. We got our instructions here. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. These are yep. Looks like these might be actually simple snap togethers, more or less. Or at least pegged together than glue in place. Oh yeah, they got color suggestions here for everything. Then decal placements as well. Yeah, decal numbers are here, paint colors are there. Our base is H. It's like a pearl white. I do have some model paints here. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and take NX out first, because we'll be working that one up. No, this is not a fan home kit. This is a AMT. No, right now fan home, they have the Enterprise D up for collection right now. And again, that one would be very large, similar to the Ecto 1. Yeah, I mean, I think AMT has like a whole deal with. Oh wow, look at that tiny deflector dish there for the NX. But yeah, no, I don't know if you guys can see, but let me see, get some focus in on that. Put my glasses on so I can see the damn preview screen behind me. I mean, it's even kind of detailed itself there on the hull and things like that. And then we got decals here, yeah. That's all. Let's open that up too. Turn this off. Come on. Do I have any kind of colors like this for in my current paint collection? Light gray, medium gray, black, white, red, copper, yellow, light blue, bright blue, silver. There we go. Put that over there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh. Wow. Okay. Looks like these decals are also meant to do a lot of heavy lifting here. Let's grab. Where's NX at? Whoa. 1701. So N. The B. Yep, so these are all the B's. It's the Enterprise A. Okay, there's NX, and oh, where is original? Where is that at? That should be E. If not, I think I might be missing. Oh no, here's the original Enterprise. It's here on the A. It's here with the Constitution refit as well. Okay. I mean, they do suggest painting. Like again, I mean, The decals, yeah, they can do some heavy lifting, it looks like, for that. Let's get some of the NX up there. Like, looks like looking at the NX here, they recommend doing the entire base of the model in more of a gray, so you don't get that whole plastic look to it. If you want to stay away from that plastic look, then they suggest like painting up parts of the bridge, like D there. They have that suggested to be white. Looks like this whole area right there, and even why did they say that should be white? Oh, that's the underside. That's that. They suggest that be white. Then F. Yeah, F, paint the top of that copper. Like, obviously, the, where is it at? The deflector on the NX would be, copper as well. Same with the deflector dish on the original Constitution. Where are you at? Oh, that's the Enterprise A. No, that's the original Constitution. Where are you at? Okay, yep, see there's part of the deflector right there, Make that copper. So, there's some base there for everything. But, if you want to make it more accurate, they've got suggestions on, where and what should be colored and things like that. And you've got little bases here for you too. I was kind of looking that over. Doesn't seem all that bad. Obviously, again, going back to the sticker sheet, there's no red for the ends of the nacelles for you to do. So you'd have to do that all yourself. Okay, they have some blue, but not, the blue of the, again, the nacelles. No, I don't think there is in there. But let me go grab my paints, see what I got as far as colors go. You can do some painting. I do have. Got a lot of different colors here too, so let's see here. And dang it, who knows if any are good? All right, let's see. I've got a desert stone. Probably won't need that one. A clear yellow. Well, they do recommend yellow, so let's go ahead and keep one yellow out. I've got a golden yellow. Now again, who knows if any of these are good. I mean, MS paint. I've got a few different kinds of paints in here, but they're mostly MS paints is what I have. So, yeah, Reaper Mini. Yeah, I've got a clear blue. Let's see, what's that? It's a clear purple. Got a black, solid black. Here's a green, and they don't really call for green on the Enterprise. Caucasian flesh, don't need that. Golden brown, won't need that. Gray liner, maybe use the gray. Probably won't need a turf green. Yeah, no green really. I got a black. I've got a honed steel. Got a pink. We're not going to need a pink. So they do suggest a red, and I've also got a cloudy gray. So I got 3 different grays. Well, 4 different grays, actually. Oh no, that's the purple I'm looking at. So yeah, three grays. cloudy, a honed, and a gray liner. Blacks, some yellows, red. Is it blue? Anybody? No, they do have a blue on here, a bright blue and a clear blue and a light blue. So I have some colors here. Got some colors. Yeah. I've done some mini painting, just kind of grab the colors and experiment with them and things like that, and use them. So yeah, kinda know what I'm doing. Well, let's be honest, not really. So let's have a look here. Yeah, pearl white. Yeah, maybe we do the NX. Oop, nudge the camera a little bit. Do the NX. Maybe do some coloring on it that we have. We grab the brushes. Wow, we've got a super glue tube here that I haven't used yet. Alright, let's go ahead and just kind of put this right here. These models. There we go. I'm going to give you guys something to look at here. Let's get the bases out of here. Back. Get some things out of here. That's water. That's for water. So we'll go ahead and put some water in that top. In case I gotta puncture something open. There we go. Very professional and very prepared here, as you can tell. As you can tell. At the very least, though, what I think we will do, though, is we can color in, the red and the blue of the nacelles on the NX. Do that. Oh, look at that! More lights just went on. And I know there's usually always a debate. Do you paint inside, everything's still in the braces, or do you hold everything and paint yourself? And I think I might just paint everything in the braces here. I think that'd be fine. Yeah, looking at the NX here, yeah, I don't have a copper really for the top. D white. I had a white. That was my first round of colors. I had a white, but I did not keep that one, because this is my second set of paints that I've got. First set of paints I kept either I kept in the basement or I kept them in my car for a winter and a summer, and they didn't really last that long. Yeah, J is our bright blue. And we have a clear blue. We can see what that looks like before we apply that. I think the red will be fine for the nacelles. That's our E is red. Yeah, let's go ahead. Give our blue a shake here. Okay, that sounds like it's shaking a little bit. Let's get a little bit there. And who knows, maybe we'll turn this into a more of a minifigure painting stream as well, because got a lot of those to paint too. In case, we may end up needing or wanting more colors. You're really fine. I'm not going to use you. But I think I'll probably go ahead and use this guy here. Yeah, so we're looking at the side vents. Yeah, so that's going to be these guys right here. These guys right there. That's going to be our blue. Ooh, that might even be too much. Roll that a little bit. Oh. Is that whole thing blue? Picture of the NX come to me. Okay, the blue goes around that bar. Okay. Okay. Maybe I should use like a pin to get in there. That is a really... Clean that brush off. That is a really, really freaking thin line there. Maybe I should use this guy. Yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's give this guy a shot. A little wet there. Dry off. And just poke in the blue. Yeah, that's a lot of blue. Okay. Art stuff is a lot easier on my canvas. Or I can just get right in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's already getting messy. Holy crumbs. Really just gotta get your face in there. If you can. I just feel like it's way too much. Yeah. I'm just not getting any. And yeah, it's kind of also how I'm working too. I really don't have not really great of a workspace here. Lighting ain't the best for any of this, I'll be honest with you. Let's try and clean that up here, because boy is that bad. It's more soluble, so. I get that washed off. I honestly can't tell if that might have actually helped a little bit. Then again, with as small as this model is, you know, painting, yeah, you know, might not be much of a thing. Kind of wish you can just, you know, shrink yourself down to itty bitty size and just get in there and get the detail you want. Would be nice. Oh, sheesh. Now we're gonna try this whole stream thing today. This might all end up just being big old crash and burn too. Also, you just gotta start somewhere. That's another thing. Not gonna get, you know, good at something until you start doing it. There's no sense in giving up if it's too hard. Boats everywhere. I ain't got much light behind me to really help with this, so give me a minute here. I'll get a little light source going for myself. Only issue is if the cord's long enough. Let's find out. Okay. If I attach that there. Alright, that's a little better. Angle it down a bit. There we go. Hopefully that won't be too much of a distraction here. Or too bright anyway. I mean, I can at least see kind of what I'm doing now. A little better now anyway, at least. Oh, birdie outside. Alright, you're not saying terrible, I guess. Which catalyst boxes are you looking at? Ah, damn it, speaking of boxes, I gotta send Neffy his stuff from Gen Con. I keep forgetting to get that sent out. Uh-oh. It's this bit there I didn't want. Damn it. Let's smooth that up here. Again, let's get this bigger brush out. Try and wash away some of this spillage here. Some lacquer thinner, that'd probably pull that color right up. $69 bits, Ether, nice. There we go, that's a little bit of that color pulled up, so that's not bad. Let's go ahead and that other nacelle brought up. Gets a lot of that excess blue off. Gets in the damn line there. Come on. These things are teeny weeny. Small, teeny weeny. Maybe getting a small model wasn't the best idea. Because, oh boy, is this a challenge. I mean, it wouldn't be a challenge if I didn't choose to paint it. But that's something I decided to do on the fly here, huh? There we go. That's a big spill over. I think this definitely would have worked better if I like there's like an end of a pin or something like that, or even where did I put it? Where did I put them? Over here? Yes. Tweezers from the Ecto 1. Jeez. See how this works. Now first off, let's get some of this excess off. Ooh, okay. Not as good as a brush. Yeah, it's understandable. Oh, that blue just left. Painting period is a good idea until you just move ever so slightly. But I mean, I don't mini paint that often, so you know I'm not going to be good right off the bat. It's like all this other stuff. It's a skill you learn, a skill you teach yourself. The only way to get good at it is just to do it. Ain't no machine gonna do it for you like this, unless you know, print it out specifically how you want it. Alright, clean those up a little, pretty good. Still put a little bit of blue in here. Yeah, not that awful, I guess. Oh, why does it say to do F2? Oh, those little guys right there. That's what it's saying, F2. Well, let's pull that back. Let's do at least do some of the red. Get the nacelle red up. Shake up that little guy. Oh, there we go. That red over there in the red part of the plate. Clean that off. It's like a bloody nose. There you are. Let's go ahead and just cap you back up right now. Let's get you though. A little bit of red. A little bit of a bigger piece. Shouldn't be that much harder, but it still will be. And I have also learned that with this red, either need a couple of coats of it, or a primer underneath that really helps it, because this is a clear red. And it going straight on plastic, depending on what it goes onto, either looks nice or it doesn't. It's got to go on a little thick. And while the tips of the nacelles dry, I'll pull out a couple other paints I've done over the years. Kind of show you what I mean. And actually maybe even use it as an excuse to work on a couple more projects. Not necessarily, you know, elbowing in on Hal's market, but you know, we've all you know got minifigures we need to paint and never will. Because Jesus Christ, we have so many minifigures. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of unpainted minifigures you have. That other half there. This one right here needs a little more red to it. Alright, go ahead and rinse this off. You go ahead and put some of the stuff aside while that dries. Like I said, I'll show you a couple other things I have painted up years previously. Make some room here. Get to watch paint dry. That's going to be exciting, huh? Move these paints here. Put my drink down. First off, to kind of show off what I mean, this is that same red I just used on a white primer here. You know, it looked pretty good, but down here on the gray plastic, you can really see that the gray really coming through. So I'm going to need to go back over these legs of the rifleman, hopefully match some of the red here that was on it. So I got this model Gen Con last year, 2024. One of the BattleTech booths that was there, doing tournaments and things like that. They were handing out minis as part of the work there, or as part of the games and everything like that there. So put that there. Then, how easily accessible are these? Give me a second. Take a look here. Trying to get that. Are you here? No, you're not. That's not you. I do need to take you out though to access the others. I've got this little guy, this little me, I should say. This is from the Ghostbusters 2 Kickstarter that I kickstarted, and I like painted that black and used that red on there. Not sure how well you can see that though. Let me just glasses on here. But yeah, with that black there, the red really kind of stands out a bit better. Come on, focus. Don't focus on my hand. Focus on the minifigure, you stupid thing. I just had it. Where did I put it? Here they are. But yeah, that's based off of the character art card that I got. Along with that, I'm literally a playable character in the board game there. Kickstarter can be fun, kids. But then there's the first Ghostbusters board game here. Open this up, and I did. And this was like my first adventure in mini painting. Was this set here. So you got, you know, like paint up most of the little ghosts here. These little gruesome twosomes here. I painted up the Sandman. Use that clear blue plastic like those other ghosts, but you know, put some detail on him. Got some fearsome flushes painted up blue or white. Did the tongues at least. Haven't done the eyes on them though. But I will say one thing real quick. They did Slimer in this like transparent green here. Yeah, this is from the Cryptozoic game. I kickstarted both of them. It's not that bad. The first game, I should say, isn't that bad. The second game needed a lot more playtesting. Yeah, no, the first one's pretty good. The second one is literally house rules the game. But going back to Slimer here, I really like the green they did. And, I mean, I just put just a little bit of paint in his eyes, teeth, and mouth. And I really didn't want to do a whole lot else because I really like how it's like you can see his mouth from the backside. I really liked that. Yes, and yes, Fez, that's the Enterprise. There's a whole little... I got a whole little 4-pack set here of the Enterprises that we will be building up. But I'm really proud of how Slimer turned out, though. Really proud how Slimer turned out. Let's see, he goes here. Kind of the same thing with Sam Hain as well. I didn't want to clean him up too much because I liked how the brush strokes looked on his suit here. I think since it darkened up that transparent blue, it really helped with the just how it looks. I probably should go back and redo the orange. I put some black in his jack-o'-lantern head. And yeah, I kind of did make the Boogeyman look like the Joker. But I mean, he already kind of did look like the animated Joker when you go back and look at him. But yeah, no, the Boogeyman is more or less an animated Joker look. I did. But the one thing I'm really surprised at when I did were the actual Ghostbusters themselves, because they're all on this colored plastic here. Wow, 2015. And I didn't really prime them up at all. I just painted everything kind of as is. And even though, like, you know, yeah, the entirety of the Proton Pack was black, and then I did the colors on top of that. Like, just take, like, the skin color here, you know, that dried up pretty good, and, like, especially Janine's hair. Even though she was on this pink plastic, you know, that hair really came out pretty good. And I really like, you know, Winston came out and things like that. And then even the Rookie came out pretty good. So, you know, kind of proud of how this first venture in mini painting came out. There. The Mr. Stay Puft was pretty easy. I mean, he's already white, just, you know, colored in the hat a little bit, the bib and the tie, and got the face in there. That's nice. Haven't done anything with Cthulhu yet, but, you know, Cthulhu's an option. But, I thought the Ecto-1 came out, pretty good too, though. It's kind of proportioned like the real Ghostbusters Ecto-1. Obviously, it could have been a little cleaner on the windows, but, you know, for it being that white plastic, I think everything turned out, you know, pretty decently on here as well. So, but, you know, my first, adventure into mini painting was, this set here. Was this game, I should say. I don't think I did, you know, that bad with it. But anyway, let's turn our attention back to the Enterprise. Let's see here. Well, you know, we do have this gold we could probably use. This gold and yellow. for what asks for copper. That's portions. That's basically the bridge. These two little pods on either side of it. Yeah, but the minute was only 4,800. Could use some wiring. Actually, you know, have I done anything in the second board game? Oh yeah, I have done a couple things in the second board game. Yeah, second board game real quick here. Did a couple of my favorite ghosts here, the Jail Jaws. Those are my favorite from the toys. These are the ones that came with the Kenner Trap with Jail Jaws. I liked him, so I painted up a couple of those. Then I started on the Ecto 1A, but it was already in this gray primed, so you know I kind of had to go over the whole thing in white. Maybe I might dip it in the bath and maybe redo it. But I mean, I think it started off pretty good. Try and get in there with the black and things like that. But yeah. Go ahead and put that one there. And then I started to also do the Ghostbusters. You get, you know, 2 Ghostbusters figures. You get one with the proton pack on and their suits from the court scene, and then each of them have a slime blower. And you know, I didn't do too bad with slime blowers actually. So, you know, I think these these guys turned out pretty good too. Yeah, I think decent enough for my first attempts and things like that. I will say about the second Ghostbusters board game, needed a lot more play testing, because there's like a timer system built into it, and even on like the first mission of like the first level of the first mission you play, it's very much razor's edge on winning or losing. Because, I mean, just how the game works, it's just frustrating. Because, you know, you roll, because, you know, on the basic enemies, you basically roll, it's basically a 50-50 chance on if you beat them or not. You know, you roll a 1 or a 3, you miss. You roll a 4, 5, or 6, you hit it. Well, if the dice don't like you, and you're rolling nothing but 1, 2s, or 3s, you don't make it, and like the game can just be over in those first 5 turns. The game needed a lot more playtesting, a lot more balancing. And unfortunately, at the time the Ghostbusters 2, the board game was being made, I believe Cryptozoic was going through a huge staff change. Like the whole company was just going through something. Because I lost contact really with who was supposed to be the liaison for the Kickstarter guys who were getting their figure, you know, getting the figures put into the game and things like that. So that's got to be side piece 2. That's got to be that one, yeah? Yeah, piece 2 is the top. That's piece 2. That's the bridge, and then the little pods on the side. So yeah, we're just gonna make that. We're gonna make that gold. We're gonna make the bridge gold, gold and yellow. Ain't gonna be copper. It's gonna be gold and yellow. And like eventually, they even came up with an appendix, which was essentially, and I shit you not, like a 26-page booklet of its own, either going over more rules, correcting parts of scenarios, and things like that. It was just a mess. And especially the stretch goals, because they try catching lightning in a bottle twice, because the first Kickstarter game was a success. However, what soured that Kickstarter game was apparently there were a lot of logistical issues when it came to shipping out the finished product to like Australia and I think some Asian countries. So a lot of people were upset about that. But because that first Kickstarter was a huge success, you know, all the stretch goals and things like that met. The second one really didn't have that big, that mass excitement around it. And the stretch goals were just kind of, I mean, stretch goals were nice. Like, we were a bit away from getting Janosch in his ghost form, and separate, and he might have come with the carriage, or the carriage with Oscar in it was going to be another stretch goal, and Dana Barrett was going to be a separate stretch goal. Like, you know, everybody wanted, you know, like Dana Barrett, things like that, but, you know, we just didn't meet the stretch goals because the excitement for the second game wasn't there. And if they had just chopped the stretch goals in half, because I think it was like 1 million per stretch goal or something like that. So if like everything would have been like, you know, 500,000 per stretch goal, you know, it would have been, you know, more successful as far as goals met. But they tried catching lightning in a bottle, but again, it just wasn't there because of the trips and follies and gaffes that happened with that first one shipping. And there was also like one stretch goal that really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me was the Were Chicken stretch goal, which, you know, good on them at $666,000, but for some reason, the reason they did that was because of just like some fan or regular in the I don't know if it was Cryptozoic or it might have been IDW, like forums or Facebook page. They did it to kind of appease him, which, I mean, yeah, that's cool for that guy, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we really didn't have much incentive to really unlock that kind of I guess Easter egg stretch goal. I mean, some people were excited for it, but a lot of people were just like, what? Why is this stretch goal here for what seems like specifically just one person? That poor kid named after a hot dog. Yeah, and it all depends on who they ship internationally with, yeah. I mean, I've been lucky enough to get most of my Kickstarter stuff fairly easily. The only one I really had trouble with was my Table of Ultimate Gaming, but that is a huge mishmash and hooba juba in and of itself. 41 months, Knight. Thank you for that. But yeah, like a lot of people were excited about. I mean, we got a lot of alternate ghosts in the basic pack, a lot of bosses unlocked. But like, you know, a lot of people like, you know, we really want Dana Barrett. Well, you got a bunch more money. Well, I mean, we're not going to give you any more money than, you know, what we think we want to pay. And I mean, I paid way more money than I'm willing to admit and should have for what we got. Because again, like I said, just the game needed a lot more playtesting. Cryptozoic was, I don't want to say they were in free fall at the time, but again, they went through a huge staff change. And it was just a lot of radio silence from them during the quote-unquote production of the game. Oh, I'm sure that Robotech Kickstarter is a nightmare if Harmony Gold's involved in it. Was that Attack on the SDF-1, or is it the game Attack of the SDF-1 is based off of? Because I remember I was at Gen Con, and I saw Attack on the SDF-1 there, was interested in it, but I didn't want to pull the trigger, really. I've got some leftover pins from Attack on the SDF-1 that they had at Gen Con. I mean, I kind of paint. I mean, I bought, some models here that, I figured might as well, try painting them up because, I do have some colors. I mean, I'll say this, Mo. Here they are. I mean, I'm nowhere near Mo or, Hal levels of painting, things like that. But, I do my best. You know what? Hang on, let's swap that out, because I know I have somewhere. There it is. There. There's a Parallax Rifleman there. Yeah, Para Rifleman, Mo Rifleman, Striker Rifleman. But okay, the Palladium game. Okay, do I have that actually? Which one do I have? Core rule book. I know I've got smaller ones here. Here it is. Yeah, I've got the Palladium source book here. Yeah, I got the source book for Macross, and I've got the new generation source book as well from Palladium. So then, if I'm not mistaken, Attack on the SDF-1 basically took the remains of the Palladium Kickstarter and used that to sell literally limited copies of that game. Because they're like, yeah, man, once we sell out on these things, they're going to be gone. So if you want it, buy it. But if you don't, we understand. If, again, from what I'm remembering from, I think Gen Con 23 is correct. This is supposed to be copper, but oh well, I say. Oh well. We're making it yeller. We're making it gold. We're sprucing up the Enterprise a little bit. There we go. I think at the very least what we'll do tonight is at least try and get the NX put together. So we're going to go a little bit longer. We'll go a little bit longer tonight. There we go. That down. Is there really anything else we can do color-wise with the NX? Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a white to paint on the bottom here. I guess that's okay. So what we'll do then is all right. 4, 5, and 3. So there's 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and just clip those out. And yes, I did specifically buy this pair of clippers for these models instead of using fingernail clippers as I would normally do. And same thing with the files. So I'm using fingernail file. So I bought little files here. Kind of clean this flashing up a bit. I'll put some professionalism in this. So those are going to sit like that on top like that. Okay. Kind of chew away at that a little bit. Oh, no, those parts stay. This back here, chew up a little bit. Yeah, they got a color guide on that back there, like I saw. Files take away too much when I use them. I mean, it all depends on, you know, what kind of file you have. I got a 1500 coarse file, and I also bought a 6000 fine file. Obviously, coarse you're going to want to start with, and then you're going to want to finish with the fine. Lower the number, coarser the file is. And, you know, the more coarse file is going to take away the chunk of it, and then you're going to want to use the finer file for smoothing the rest of it out. Even though I do have the tool files that we use for fixing Crow up, man, those are actually even smaller than this one. Actually, using those jeweler's files probably would have been better for this size model. Now, I'll be honest, depending on how I'm feeling next time we do the models here, I'd at least like to paint up the A and the B. Lizard, 100 bits, thank you. They're Opkiri. Let's see here. Water break, we'll take that. We'll take that right now. Okay, I lied. That's actually that's iced tea in there. That's green tea, I should say, from Arizona. But it's still hydration, though. I see. It used to be real fine grit emery board. Yeah. Dealing with flash computer minis. Yeah. I will say though, that little lizard guy there, I do like the edit they have, where he's just got glasses and the long hair, where it's supposed to be Thor, and it's just Blizzard. Because, he worked at Blizzard, It's all about context. It's all about providing context. Oh, I was using that, really using that light one for, we'll just go over like that. It's kind of funny. I've got you guys here off to my right, but obviously I've got the camera in the middle here. I'm kind of talking into the camera like it's the microphone. Wow, I can barely feel like anything on this ultra fine file. Holy smokes. It's like I'm just passing over it with paper. But that's fine though. That's fine. It's leaving a really nice smooth finish though. Well, we've learned that at least on this stream, swearing might not be fine because, again, for the longest time, for whatever reason, I was the most controversial stream as far as when it came to loading up uploading the VODs to YouTube. Don't know why, but mine were always flagged. Maybe it is because we said things like "but" and "poo" often. So we don't fucking swear on my goddamn streams. Oh, that kind of got torn up a little bit there when that came out, huh? But yeah, don't worry, we are gonna still have regularly scheduled programs tonight. We got Bulk and the crew on after here, but like I said, we're just gonna go a little bit longer, a little bit closer to when they get on for our streamathon here. Our second weekend of the streamathon. Of course, we'll have next weekend as well. We'll be doing the streamathon, doing what we can. Listen, I don't know who's more controversial, me or Hosfei. I just know Diggs like, dude, Striker, what are you guys doing? I've gotten like a flag for all your uploads. What are you guys doing over on that art stream? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm so controversial. But yeah, he had to get for a while, I don't know if it's still a thing, but for a while, he had to get reviews done of my streams, so they could be uploaded. And I say, see, these aren't an issue. What the hell are you guys talking about? All right. Yeah, and those just go in there. So let's get a little bit of glue here. It's got a super fine brush, and what we'll do is we'll just put a little bit in each hole here. And I also think, ooh, this is gonna be a fun stream. Yeah, ooh, woo! Can you guys smell that glue? I sure as hell can. I don't think I'll need an edible tonight because of this glue. Holy shit, I won't. There we go. And this is probably like a lifetime supply of glue for me right here. Use in a well-ventilated area. Okay. Tighten cap securely after each use. Wash with water. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and get these pieces attached here. Yeah, I just went to the model shop today on a whim after work. And, uh-oh, come on, get in there. Mostly to see what kind of engines they had. HO scaled engines. But, you know, just the models, just, you know, this model here caught my eye, and same with HAL, and they also had like a big Excelsior as well that caught my eye. I'm sure the glue will always dry before you use it, yeah, but like, this is just like such a teeny tiny bottle too. Extra thin cement conforms. Vapor harmful. Danger extremely flammable. Well, that's fun. Alright, danger extremely flammable. Vapor harmful. Contains acetone and butyl. B-U-T-Y-L. Acetate. Butyl. I'm gonna call it butyl. Butyl. Do not use near heat, sparks, or flame. Evade all sources of ignition. Use in well-ventilated area. Avoid contact with eyes and skin. In case of contact with eyes, flush it with water if irritation persists. You have medical attention. Keep out of reach of children. I mean, it does look kind of tasty though. Anyway. Then we're going to get our nacelles out here. Well, you know, first off, let's do this side. Let's do 8 and 9 first. And that is these two. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't really matter which side goes on which, because I'm sure they are pretty well mirrored, but let us not tempt the gods. Alright. Oh, that one clipped pretty clean. This one not so much. How'd this one go? Oh, that clipped pretty clean too. Alright, let's get our file out. Half expecting Parallax to come in here and give me a dressing down. What are you doing? What are you doing taking my stick? We agreed on a no stick taking policy here on the channel. There we go. Oh, that cleaned that up right good. Let's do that here too. Coming from the side. Hope you guys can see that. Yeah, you kind of can. It's in the shadow, but you can. Let me try and there. That cleaned that there. That really came off clean there. Yeah, I recognize this quick as a robot. Is it different from super glue? You know, it probably is. Because actually, yeah, super glue, at least the Duro brand I use, is very much more of like a gel. Bond skin and second irritant, yeah. No, yeah, this is definitely more like a gel. As far as its consistency goes, this, as you can see, it's got a bubble. It's very water-like. It's very liquid-like. For ingestion, do not induce vomiting. Call a physician. Yeah, but yeah, no. The super glue, at least most of the super glue I use, is a more of like a gel-like substance. It does drip out, but it doesn't seem as watery as this, from what I have observed. I mean, that might also just be the whole bare drop you get out of that makes it just seem like bigger than what's in here. You know what? I'm not even going to use that grit. Let's just go ahead and just do the fine here, a little some cleanup here. almost don't want to touch this that much. Actually, you know what? I should do the back side at least. Actually, do the back side. Help give the glue something to adhere to, because that. I mean, we'll do the same thing. We'll put some glue in the holes, but we'll also put some around the borders a little bit. We also do want to make sure these backs are pretty flat. So we do want them to seal up properly. Oh yeah, but I mean, I got models here I can paint, so you know, it's his shtick. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to assemble the nacelle first here, and then we'll put it, because you assemble it, get a couple of holes here, and then you put them on top. So we're going to assemble the nacelle first, see if it goes on easily on that first peg. If not, the second one will assemble on the strut. Again, we'll just put a little bit of glue in the holes here. And I'll get a little bit of glue. Ooh, that's a lot of glue, right? Yeah, no, let's put glue. Whoop. Wait a minute. Did I just real? Okay, hang on. Squeeze. Okay, it seems like when I squeezed the top here, it brought a drip out. Anyway, put a little bit more there, and then we'll put a little bit. Tweezers. Glad I grabbed you. Along the inside here. This is not necessarily something I want to get on my fingers, because I don't have any nail polish to help remove it. Or spend the rest of the stream just, you know, running my hand underwater. Alright, go ahead and get this together. There we go. Not all that bad. We got little holes here. And then, I think I'll do, while that sets, we'll put some glue on the strut itself. On the pegs, and on the strut landing there. Then, hopefully, that just goes right into place there. There we go. Ooh. And then if we really wanted to, that's in place. And depending on how much you want to do it, you could also always just line it with some glue as well. It shouldn't affect the look of the model, but it might help keep it in place. Especially with it being on the bottom, you probably won't see it. Probably won't see it. Let's see. Princess models. Need to print out another Spronko and paint it like the Sea Duck. Yeah. X-scale models, Or could you use them with fleet, say, fleet command? Not distraction 2 hours before painting. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard. You know, it's kind of hard to be distracted when you're the only one on stream. But as far as fleet command goes, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let me double check fleet command real quick. I want to make sure I'm looking at the correct thing. So, move my desk. All right. All right. So it's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Star Trek Attack Wing. Think of Star Trek Attack Wing. Yeah, you can use them in fleet battles, yeah. Okay. If the heck's are big enough, yeah. Well, I mean... See, we got the bases here, little round bases. Oh, well, these are 2025 models. So, you know, I mean, I could put a caliper on that later, see how big they are. But, I mean, for comparison, if you want, you know, here is the original Constitution class, you know, compared to, you know, saucers, you know, basically the same size. Their original Connie to the NX. So, you know, maybe. But I could actually tell you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Fleet Command is a game, actually. But I do have something from Attack Wing, so, you know, let me put you guys on commercial break real quick. And let me see about Attack Wing.
No wisecracks about the hat, and we'll be right back after these very important messages.
Meet 2XL. He's full of fun questions, answers, and jokes.
True or false? Taking a bath was once against the law in some states in America.
That's true.
True is right.
With 2XL and tons of program tapes, the fun never ends.
Electronic Sonic!
It's Tiger's new Sonic the Hedgehog handheld game. Energize yourself with power sneakers. Use the supersonic spin attack to smash Dr. Robotnik's evil robots. Sonic the Hedgehog. Supersonic fun for kids on the run.
Grimace's room looks like a pig pen.
Does it, Ronald?
Well, it does need a little work. I'll help.
Oh, my!
We fixed it. Now it looks like a pig pen. McDonald's proudly rolls out 8 exciting new wacky rollers featuring your favorite Tiny Toon Adventure stars and showcased by our lovely spokesmodels.
This has gone too far.
One vehicle with each Tiny Toon Adventures Happy Meal you buy.
Nobody challenges the king of the schoolyard. Nobody but Mikey.
Okay, King, you and me, one-on-one.
It's Super Slam Basket. High-speed reload and realistic sounds.
Foreman's gonna paint. I'll pop from the cherry stripe. I'll airmail him in three-point range.
The scoreboard tells the tale.
Nothing but net.
Super Slam Basket. And Full Court Slam Basket from Catico.
Welcome to the factory where they make Cocoa Puffs. I bet you all go cuckoo for this chocolatey tasting stuff.
You're on, Sonny.
We'll start here, where each puff is packed with its great chocolatey taste. A taste that makes Cocoa Puffs a delicious part of this complete breakfast. A taste so chocolatey, kids can't help going cuckoo.
Now on the back of marked boxes of Cocoa Puffs, one free fold-out factory. Load it up and let the good times roll.
Inspired by J.M. Barrie's novel, Peter and Wendy.
Out with your cutlasses!
It's Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates.
Catch me if you can! I'll seize Peter Pan and make him walk the plank.
So come join the adventure of a lifetime.
Arm yourself and prepare to do battle
with the hero of all time.
There's no danger I can't handle.
It's Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. Weekdays on Fox.
I don't want to hear one wisecrack about the hat. Now, back to our program.
Hang on, hang on. Oh, crumbs. Didn't mean to do that. All right. Let me go ahead and swap this back. What was I at? Model build. There we go. Okay, well, I mean, yes. I'm sure Attack Wing does have some scaling issues, but let's be honest, a lot of sci-fi does. But as far as Attack Wing goes, I do have this. So, you know, if we take what we have built of the NX right now, I'm going to say it's probably pretty big. So it might not scale properly with some of the Attack Wing stuff. So, you know, there's that. Alright, go ahead and move our space. Oh, wow, I didn't notice that. Let's go ahead and take care of this. I really never really gave this a whole once-over. Some flashing there on Deep Space Nine on one of the docking platforms. Alright, there we go. And set that back down. There we go. Okay, now, I'm going to be honest, like, funny we're bringing this up. I saw a video earlier today. Let me bring it up. Let's see. It's the YouTube channel Venom Geek Media. And the video I saw was, you're probably wrong about starship scaling. It was a pretty decent video. Basically just about how starship scaling is completely, what we think scale is completely out of whack of what they should be. Things like that, yeah. But yeah, I just saw his video on scaling popped up today on YouTube for me, and I gave that a watch, and you know, the guy brings up a pretty good point that Star Trek started off as, you know, a pretty reasonably scaled, especially for, at the time, what spaceships would be like. But because of Star Wars, that really threw a lot of scaling out of proportion. And that's because of the Star Destroyer. Long story short, what we know as the Star Destroyer's sizes are probably a lot bigger than they should be if we want to go based off the Blockade Runner. The Blockade Runner is basically, well, started off as the Luke Skywalker of Star Wars ships. What I mean by that is that when Kenner got the license to do the Star Wars toys, they're like, okay, we got the license, but how big is Luke going to be? And the head of Kenner, that time I forget his name, he sat there and thought, and then he goes, Luke Skywalker will be this big. You know, he just made a size with his finger, and one of the designers got his scale out. The scale is, you know, just a small little ruler that basically normally goes from 1 to 6 inches, and then has like a lot of increments in between. It's got the 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 16th inch, usually sometimes 32 of an inch, and he measured that, and I think Luke came out to let's say like 4 1/4 or 5 1/4 inches when he measured him, and then all the other figures from there were scaled to Luke. You know, Vader being a little bit tall, you know, Vader and Chewie size, Han size, everybody, and the vehicle sizes were all scaled off Luke Skywalker. So doubling back to starship sizes, if we look at the original prints that what would eventually become ILM, had for everything. The Blockade Runner, the first ship we see in the films, sets the size for everything else. And the original plans for the Blockade Runner is about, I think, 40 meters. Okay, 3.25 inches. Okay, I at least have the 3 3/4 inches. Okay. I knew it wasn't obviously taller than 7 inches. I just couldn't remember. But yeah, Luke is 3 3/4 inches tall. So everyone was based off that. But anyway, going back to the Blockade Runner, like I said, it's only supposed to be 40 meters long. You know, from cockpit to engine. And yeah, that is, you know, that's at the front of the Blockade Runner. That is supposed to be a cockpit. That is not supposed to be a bridge like we know it from like Star Trek and things like that, or the larger capital ships. And so based off that, if you look at the original prints, the Millennium Falcon is just a little bit shorter than the Blockade Runner. I think it goes from like just behind, like to the neck, you know, just behind the bulb, that cockpit portion of the Blockade Runner to its engines, about the size of the Millennium Falcon, and everything else from there. And obviously you've got the Star Destroyer from there, but because of B canon and everything else like that, like the books and stuff like that, you know, saying how long Star Destroyers and all that are, has really blown the size of that universe, and by association, other universes' ships out of proportion how big they should be. Things like that. Now, a couple of things I will kind of fight back on that video. I have to watch it again to really get a, if I recall correctly, they tried to copy the rough size of the Fisher-Price's Adventure People because they knew they would be cost machinery to make the figures. They set the industry standard because Hasbro copied it for the 80s G.I. Joe. That I don't know off the top of my head. And it's been a while since I've watched the episode of Toys That Made Us episode of Star Wars. But like I said, from what I recall from that, you know, the guy put his fingers out, you know, said Luke Skywalker's going to be that big. Whether or not it's because of Fisher-Price, there's a chance. But since they were making it from scratch, you know, again, Luke's going to be that big. And that's where the scaling came from. And then, yeah, Hasbro did kind of do that when they did relaunch G.I. Joe, things like that. That's kind of a, you know, G.I. Joe is also its own story. Take a quick look here. Ooh, let's clean that up a little bit. Actually, there's a little bit here on the top of this peg. I want to get rid of. There we go. Like that. That's pretty good. Let's see. I thought it was Eric Estrada from Chips that they used for G.I. Joe. Could have been for that. Well, I mean, again, it all depends on which G.I. Joe we're talking about. If we're talking about the original runs of G.I. Joe, back in the 50s, I think is when G.I. Joe officially started. It definitely was not Eric Estrada from Chips. And actually, the reason G.I. Joe was put to bed in the 70s, obviously because of the Vietnam War. And it's less than popular standing with the public. So that's when they kind of put G.I. Joe to rest. They sold... Well, no, I'm starting to get the history of the Transformers now with that. But, you know, G.I. Joe then came back, obviously, in the 80s. Because, you know, the guys, you know, were just looking for a new, not necessarily a new franchise, but, you know, something else to come up with it in toy sales because that was at the time where Mattel was just taking everyone to, well, I mean, that's, you know, Star Wars was around, you know, Hasbro needed an action figure. Star Wars was around, Kenner had Star Wars, Mattel had He-Man. So, you know, Hasbro needed, it was before Transformers, so, you know, Hasbro needed their action figure. Well, Flash Gordon, but no. But He-Man was Mattel's. Oh, we should have cleaned up a lot more on that nacelle. There's a gap in there. We should have cleaned up a lot more on that nacelle. There's a gap on the top, and now the glue has more or less set in, and we can't pull it apart. Can we? No, we can't. Actually, yeah, we can. Look at that. And actually, well, to go more into the story there, that's how Cobra became a thing. Because when the guys were pitching the G.I. Joe idea, the CEO of Hasbro was like, okay, but who are they going to fight? The guy's pitching the idea, well, first off, the one thing that that they did, you know, they basically tried to pull a patent when they did the original pitch for G.I. Joe. Like, you know, guy came in, you know, military gear, yeah, you know, this that, you know, rolling along on the Kenner and Lemire were doing great, yeah. Anyway, you know, like, you know, doing this and that, you know, had, you know, patriotic music going off and everything like that. You know, we're going to bring G.I. Joe back. You know, it's going to be these guys, things like that. But he goes, you know, who are they going to fight? Well, what do you mean? You know, G.I. Joes, you know, they need someone to fight. Who are they going to fight? You know, they're, well, the other toys in, you know, the kid's toy box. So, you know, you can't do that, you know. This was at the time where companies told kids how to play with the toys, which is why the original He-Man toys came with comics. But then with that, it's like, well, they came across it, well, I mean, you know, the kids that we're aiming this for, they can't read. You know, 5, 6 years old. You know, they can't or really don't want to read. Oh, shit. So that's how the Filmation He-Man series came along. They originally wanted like a made-for-TV movie special. But, you know, they found out that, like, with the price of what they were going to spend on a TV movie, you know, Filmation could have just made like a season of it. You know, could make like 5 episodes. And so they ran with that. So that's how we got He-Man the Master of the Universe TV show. It's kind of just happenstance. All right, let's try and put this together first before I put more glue on it. Does that look any better? That looks kind of better. All right, can I take this apart now? A little bit. But yeah, that's, so, you know, that's, again, that's how that whole TV show, cartoon, TV show toy line kicked off. But anyway, back to G.I. Joe. So who are they going to fight? Oh, it's just the other toys. No, you can't do that. Who are they going to fight? I'll give you guys another chance. Come back, I don't know, like in a month or something like that. And for another pitch, and we'll see what happens. All right. So, you know, the guys kind of go back to the drawing board and things like that. After the initial rejection. So, you know, they go back to the drawing board. And kind of, again, taking inspiration off He-Man and everybody, you know, they kind of saw what they were doing. It's like, okay. So they created, they created Cobra and things like that. But at the same time, you know, with just, you know, how the regulation was, they needed something else, so that's why they came up. So they came up with the comic book idea, and but the comic book was also the TV show. So the second pitch meeting goes, all right, we've got a comic book. Just holding up books like, how can we do the comic books? Like, it's just a stand-in. But we've got the comic book. There's gonna be a TV show along with this. We already have the jingle, and then they play that the G.I. Joe opening thing, fighting for trouble wherever wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. They do that, and the guy who was the head of Hasbro, listens to it, things like that. Everyone's like, yeah, hey, this is pretty cool. They look at him after the song, and when the song finishes, the head of Hasbro goes, all right, I'm gonna go. He just says He just says the sentence of, "I'm gonna go talk to my dad," because the guy at Hasbro was the son of the former Hasbro president, and everyone's and then he leaves the boardroom, and everyone's thinking, what does he mean he's gonna go talk to his dad? His dad's been dead for like, let's say, 5 years at this point. But that's when they realize, wait a minute, he's going to his father's grave to tell him G.I. Joe is back, because the original G.I. Joe toy line, that 12-inch action figure, was one of the original creations of the initial Hasbro owner, that the first CEO, and that's basically how we got the 80s G.I. Joe, was because of that. And so all those guys were like, oh, it's like, yeah, we're going with this now. So that's how we got the that G.I. Joe launch going. Give me just 1 second here, fellas. I need to send a massage real quick. There. Hopefully that gets through in time. Anyway. Yeah, the original IP was his dad, and the original, his son, paying respects before the decision, He told his dad about, there's no ruling, in, the text, from what, and then went forward, So that's how we got, that's how we got G.I. Joe, and then from there, basically everything else kind of followed, in that pattern. Was since you couldn't, really make a show off of toys. But, basically the show could not be basically a commercial for the toys. So they kind of got around it with, the show being based off the comic book. And that's what that was. So. But yeah, they were all there to sell the toys, yes. But to get around it, there was the comic book. Yeah, unfortunately, since the 80s, G.I. Joe really hasn't been able to catch back on. Yeah, it was actually Takara first that did that. Long story short on that, Hasbro sold the G.I. Joe figure line to Takara. Like what are they called? The model tooling and things like that. But Japanese kids really weren't all into soldiers and things like that, so Takara retooled it into Cyborg, robot guy, because Japan was all about the robots and such. Which then then they took the 12-inch figures, turned them into like a Micro Man line or something like that, where you know, small, like little, I want to say maybe 6-inch, maybe 4-inch figures line, which then gave way to to what we know as Transformers today, which was Diaclone. And Diaclone's basically, if any of the Transformers you know about are vehicles or have cockpits, you know, like Optimus, like many of the Autobots, Starscream and the Jets, the Dinobots, they used to come with figures that would ride inside of them. That was a Diaclone line. And I think it was the Micro Change line, which is basically most of the other Transformers, like Soundwave, Megatron, Reflector, Blaster, you know, basically was some kind of handheld item, you know, that was also Takara. Micronauts and Diaclone. Okay, it was Micronauts. And Diaclone, yeah. That was basically the other half of the line. But what Hasbro did for the Transformers line, it wasn't exclusively Takara. Yes, Takara did have a lot of them, but Hasbro basically went to anyone that had a transforming toy and said, that transforms, gimme for Transformers. Like, one of the less known things about that was Tomy was essentially what we know as the original Omega Supreme, but that never came out on the Japanese Transformers toy line because at the time Tomy obviously was a rival company to Takara, so under the Transformers line they never got Omega Supreme until Takara bought Tomy out. I want to say in the 2000s, early 2000s, is when Takara finally bought Tomy, and that's when I'm going to get rid of this to get to that sensor array. And that's when Japan finally got an Omega Supreme, an original Omega Supreme release. When they finally bought Tomy out, they sold it under the line. But I mean, that's why the original Jetfire was a was a Veritech fighter. No, they really didn't know about the whole Robotech line. All they knew was that Takara had a transforming fighter. I think it was Takara, wasn't it? Again, whoever had the Veritech fighter, yeah, Valkyrie, yeah, Scott, yeah, Macross, yeah, which is why Jetfire was a Veritech fighter in the toy line. But when the show started to come out, Harmony Gold, you know, smelling what they thought was copyright, said, no, that is our thing. So that's why Jetfire looks completely different in toy form and TV show form. It's because, again, Harmony Gold, we all know that. Let's get some blue in there and get this sensor array on there. But, you know, obviously Toy came out before the show really came out, or at least before his episode. But Hasbro, you know, not Hasbro not willing, Harmony Gold being Harmony Gold, unwilling to share anything of theirs, put the kibosh on that. There we go. That is teeny weeny tiny tiny. We're going to put some glue on top of that there. Let that settle down. That too, yeah. I mean, the main difference is, yeah. Oh, sorry, this is the bottom. There we go. And how does this do? What was that? Oh, that's what that is. They had the box that said Skyfire on it to get confused with Thundercracker. Yeah. We got Skyfire and Jetfire, same Transformer, but you know, because of Hammond. Oh, that's how it goes on. Okay, so Electric will just sit right in there. We'll put some glue there and get that sitting into place. But yeah, that's why that is a thing. But yeah, again, Hasbro just went around to basically just about everybody that made transforming toys and said, I want that for my line. Starscream had two subordinates. There were three Seekers. There was Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. Starscream, obviously red and white. Thundercracker was blue and white, and Skywarp was the black and gray. Deluxe Insecticons and Deluxe Autobots were never in the show because they were Bandai toys. Yeah, that's a possibility, yeah. That's a possibility. But then again, I guess it depends on which ones you consider the deluxe Autobots, because they used a lot of the Autobot toys in the show. I know you're right about the deluxe Insecticons, but I don't recall which one the deluxe Autobots were. Okay, that's held in place pretty good. And then again, we're gonna go ahead and put some glue into our holes here. Now, granted, like I said, they just grabbed any toy they could for their toy line. Some toys, some toys got like an episode or so, like Hoist, Inferno, Red Alert, those guys. Decepticons, yeah, no, not so much really. The Coneheads, Dirge, Ramjet, and I forget the third Conehead. Here we go. We got ourselves a little NX-01 so far. Oh, I got that covered up there. Go ahead and just, there we go. Now I can see the preview. No, not Afterburner. Okay, let me look up the Conehead names. Alright. I want to say Thrust before I look. It might be Thrust. Yep, Dirge, Ramjet, and Thrust. Thrust is the third one. Which one is which? I could not fucking tell you, though. Yeah, Thrust. Yeah, it is Thrust. Again, which one is which? I could not tell you, though. Alright. Well, here is that. Set this down, It looks like... Where's that other piece of... Oh, here we go. Alright. Decal applications. Alright, cut decals apart, close to image. Apply one at a time. Dip decal in water. So backing loosens. Moisten area of model where decal is to be applied to aid in positioning. Slide decal partly off paper backing. Press decal model and slide paper away. Thoroughly blot the excess air, water, air bubbles, and any excess. Yep, allow time to dry before handling. So, wow, that is a lot for the NX here. We can start with the top, I guess. Well, we probably should start with the top. 35 is a band. 34 is a band. So at our very least here, bring out your geek. No, this is just me normally, Mo, when we start talking about shit like this. Oh, you know what? We do have a knife. Probably should get a knife to cut that out. Assembly the my masterpiece Superion. Yeah, maybe. All right, let me get my knife real quick. Like, what? Honest question for you guys: what does farm usually start up? What time does that usually go at? What time does that usually start up at? Is that like in half an hour or something like that? I don't have TV Guide anymore, so I don't know. Start at 8 p.m. Okay. So that's just a little over half an hour now. Okay. Oh no, wait. It's my 8 p.m. now. So, like I said, in how many minutes? They usually start like in 30 minutes then? 30, 40 minutes? Because we're crossing time zones now. 40 minutes. Okay, there we go. That's why I said how many minutes, because technically it's 8 p.m. now for me, so, you know, they should have been kicking me off. They should have been yelling, what are you doing here? So, 40 minutes. Okay. Oh, that's already ruining that, so... Ooh, okay, let's try and... a little more. Oop, nope. Oh, there we go. Okay. Come on, you. Come on, you. That is really close to the detail. There. Okay. Whew. Let's see here. Round table painter section. So yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. All right, give you guys another commercial break here while I go get some warm water. At the very least, we'll get one decal on here. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Announcing the Fox Kids TV Takeover. It all starts at McDonald's, where you snag a ballot and vote for your favorite Fox Kids show. Then on Thanksgiving weekend, one lucky voter will star on Fox as host of 2 hours of fun-filled shows you selected. Plus, win a family trip for 4 to Universal Studios Hollywood. Entries must be received by November 18th for your chance to be a star.
Where are the corn pops? Great. I'm dying for Pops, and he just sits there. Stay calm. I'll find him. Oh, like sweet popcorn, you always want more. And the alien child's not talking. Oh, what an angel.
Kellogg's Corn Pops is part of this complete breakfast.
I gotta have my Pops.
Now free on Kellogg's Corn Pops, a sample of Mattel's new game, Scrutinize. Find all you can in a minute.
Piece of cake. Found it right there.
It's the incredible Crash Dummies!
I feel like a wreck.
Tree! When dummies get behind the wheel, it's their job to crash.
I'd like to see you do that again.
Whatever you say, kid.
Crash! With a crash car, they meet everything head on.
I just love going to pieces.
Don't you be a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
And leave the crashing to us.
The incredible Crash Dummies. Each car comes with special dummy.
When you get up in the morning and you want some tasty fun.
Go for Sugar Bear and Golden Crisp, the golden tasting one. With a touch of golden honey for a taste of solid gold. Crispy crunch we got a munch, makes a golden taste explode.
Can't get enough of that golden taste. Can't get enough Golden Crisp.
So to make your morning golden, get the flavor going fast. It's Golden Crisp cereal, the golden tasting blast.
Can't get enough of that golden taste. Can't get enough Golden Crisp.
It's the golden tasting part of this complete breakfast.
Oh, fuck you, Sugar Bear!
No wisecracks about the hat.
No,
We'll be right
one.
back after...
Okay, well, I mean, Sugar Bear was an asshole at the end of his career. Stealing that sugar crisp from old Granny Sweetwater, or whatever her name was. Fuck you, Sugar Bear. Oh, was the crash test dummy on that commercial? Yeah, I had the taxi crash test dummy car. They that worked. That advertisement worked really well on me. I wanted that crashing car explode apart into pieces. All right, come on, damn it. Putting some of these. Putting some of the brushes back. All right. We got our old water pal back here from the Ecto 1 build. And just like the Ecto 1, we're going to be using tweezers to help with our transfer. I did recommend to put that part of the hull. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then take that out. Ooh. That is a slidey boy there. Come on. right up on there like that. Everything's actually kind of lined up pretty good there if I don't fuss with it too much. Move this off to the side here. Alright. I'm just going to do these decals one at a time here. It might have been a little too wet. That's why we also have this napkin here. Just kind of try to dab away some of that water. Tap, tap, tap. I don't think we necessarily need to have watered down the hull. Trying to line the panels up. I think that looks good. Maybe just a little bit like that. Maybe over just a hair. Okay. It's a nice light blowing. And what would we do next? Probably get those lines done first. Maybe just kind of work on this whole. Oh, where did I put? Is it back here? Yes. Well, where's number 2 go? Number 2 is the section just behind it there. We'll cut that out. Distilled water, you are overestimating my resources here. No, that's just warm water from the tap there, Mo. There's no distiller. There's no distilling done here. All right, gonna leave that alone. Let it dry. Let's take out number 2 here. I mean, if it was good enough when we built the Ecto-1, it's be good enough for the Enterprise. I'm curious if that N2 will slide off as probably though. Well, I mean, hard to put here. The N1 is somewhere, or at least the top of it is. I'll be honest, water slide decals, first time I used them was on the Ecto one, so I understand being nervous around them. Especially when you gotta cut them out yourself. I don't smudge up all the other decals on here. At least that's what I'm hoping I don't do with this napkin. To be honest, it would have been really nice if each ship had its own sheet and didn't share decals. That would be really awesome. Really awesome. That's a good way to drink some water there. That's a good way to drink some water there, Laughing Man. There we go. And move that off to the side. How you doing there, little decal? You done drying? Am I going to piss myself off by touching the tweezers? Yeah, I'm going to piss myself off if I use my hands. And this goes on like this. There we go. That's probably my quote-unquote alarm going off. Double check it. There we go. Okay. Oh, there's a couple of air bubbles in here. Go ahead and try and get those tapped out. Whoop. All right, that's sitting kind of nice there. Some light blowing there. Kind of try and focus that in for you guys to see. Not doing a bad focus job though. I'll kind of blow that off. Let that go. What else are we looking at here? No more necessarily on that back. All right, N3. What does N3 look like? Oh, yeah. All right, N3 is this wide one here. And that looks like follows this exterior portion. Yeah, this, because 4 right here is this internal section. That's that one. So then what is 35? Is 35 this outer ring then? It almost have to be. Unless it goes on the side, but I don't think it does. Also, we have NX. We have Akira. NX, Akira. And there's a whole thing too behind why they use. Why they use the Akira model for the NX. For the NX. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. But the designers did kind of do that on purpose. I think when they were looking through for ship ideas and things like that. They saw the Akira and like, well, what if do that? And another neat thing about the progression of, or how Enterprise was supposed to progress, was the NX's various refits. It was supposed to get a secondary hull very similar to the Constitution that would have attached under here. And not necessarily, it wouldn't necessarily have gotten a neck to that secondary hull, but the secondary hull would have gotten there, and the pylons would have connected to that secondary hull, I think. Where the saucer would have just sat on top of it. Let's see if you get made for the battle scene. Yeah. I mean, eventually their salvage, it's going to be, 4 Federation ships. But, not right away. Not right away. Technically, no, this is not a Federation ship because this was before the Federation Charter. Actually. So, if you want to get technical, no, this is not a Federation ship. This is an Earth vessel. The NX-01 Earth ship. Now, it's not. It's the NX class, but yeah, it's from Earth. It's not from the Federation. It's not from Starfleet. So, depending on how technical you want to get. Well, actually, Oh, Crapats cut me off, yeah. No, that's fair. Well, I mean, we are doing our whole subathon too, you know, this month for Subtober. So if you didn't want to worry about those commercials, you know, you could say nay. But at the same time, you know, you gotta take care of yourself first, though. If you ain't got the money, you know, we ain't gonna squeeze your balls for it either. So that's fine. You know, you enjoy the stream as you want. So. We got 15 minutes before Bulk and Crew. You know, let's at least go ahead and see. Look at that. Look at that. Anonymous Gifter gave you that tier 1 sub there, Ramshackle. Let's at least, I guess, try and get 3 and 4 on before we end the stream. I know it says cut close to it, but don't want to risk cutting into the decal either, especially on these curves. Go. Swing this around. Yeah, I already see a little bit of water here in the corner by the Enterprise B's nacelle decal. Ain't decals, but they do. Yeah, they do make it a lot easier. This one is the NX01. This one's the NX01, so it is neither. But in this pack I did buy, it's got the NX01, the Original Constitution, A, and B. So, you know, it's got all of them. It's got all 4 of those, all 4 of them. So, you know, eventually we'll be doing the A and the B. But not right away. I may consider painting the other bodies before I put them together. Or at the very least... Ooh, come on. Come on. Or at the very least, maybe getting the copper coloring and some of the other suggested paint colors that I don't have. For the other ships. Maybe like a lighter blue for the nacelles. But we'll see. Oh, come on. Don't be a bitch. That's all I'm asking. I felt a tug somewhere. I felt a tug when I took that napkin off. Why'd I feel a tug? It's nice I can kind of see where the decals sit, so I could actually probably cut a little bit bigger if I wanted to. Come on. Come on. There we go. Itty bitty knife time. Oh, I think I cut the decal with that one. Give me a good old sticker sheet any day. You know? I'll take the Japanese way out. I'll do sticker sheets. I'll do sticker sheets all day. Yes, Bulk. Listen, as you saw, I was...
I said I'm coming in.
God damn it. At least, you know... Oh. At least, you know... Clean up after yourself after that.
Yeah, it was a cheap door. How's everybody doing?
There we go. I'm putting decals on.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, Jesus, help.
I missed it. What are you putting decals on? Is that Enterprise?
Yeah, that's the NX-01.
Nice.
That's not where that goes.
And Shackle has mead. I want some mead. That sounds awesome right now.
I had some last night, actually. Oh shit, where do you go? I think I see where you go. I see a little indentation here. So what all you got planned for tonight, Bulk, on your stream?
I have no idea what we're gonna do. I just know that Hospe will not be with us and probably won't continue to not be with us, as it is about that time of the year down in Upside Down Land.
Oh. Were they just going to hibernation?
Storm season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they just duck and cover down there.
Could always put up a poll. Well, yeah, I could.
Yeah, if you want to do that right now, you could. Or during your stream, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Where is... I need to add that to my quick buttons. That's on me.
No, that's a Twitch thing they changed. You have to type in /poll and then you can fill it out from there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's pretty nice.
I do that in chat right now.
Right, yeah. But how chat, Ben? How you doing?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Now you chat. I'm talking about the decal. There we go. Yeah, so this other decal here, these guys here have to go either on the side or over top this decal I'm just putting on, the way this looks. Yeah, water slide. Yeah, these are water slide decals. You have a question, Ramshackle. What kind of question is it? Is it a question I want to answer? Okay, I think that'll fit there. Is the pizza big enough for leftovers? If so, yes. I mean, pizza, yeah, I mean, here. I have $10 in a coupon, a medium pizza for $8, and it's across the street. Should I do it?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, pizza's never a bad idea. True. I guess another question is like, you know, how many toppings is said pizza? Like, yeah, it's probably like at least a 1-topping pizza. Wouldn't be bad. But also the most important question is, are you feeling like pizza tonight? Do you want a pizza? Again, Fridays usually is pizza night, but do you want pizza tonight? So you need to ask yourself. Coupon only allows for 1 topping.
Go buy mushrooms.
I mean, it depends on the kind of mushrooms, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, just go buy some mushrooms and a stick of butter, and just saute them bad boys.
All right, there we go. You know, I think I'll do it for the decals tonight. You don't feel like cooking? I mean, that's a good reason to get pizza as well. You don't feel like cooking.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good reason. But yeah, all right. Oh. We'll go ahead and turn this light off now. Well, that really makes that darker, doesn't it? At least for me, it does. But yeah.
Funnily enough, your camera adjusted pretty well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For cheap-ass webcam I have, yeah, it's not all that bad. But
yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to be calling it here. Let the studio air out. Let you guys gather up. So,
gotta put a new door up.
Yeah. That's going to be on you. I'll be back on normal time tomorrow morning. So, I will catch you guys later. Bulk, you and the gang have fun tonight. And
yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll see you guys for the rest of the subathon this weekend. You guys take it on easy.
Yep. See you tomorrow morning.